Hi, my name is Jason Davila, President of Players of the Pear Garden.
Hi, my name is Julian, historian of the Players of the Pear Garden.
And I'm Cameron, treasurer of the Players of the Pear Garden.
And welcome to the podcast of the Pear Garden.
Today we have here Jason Davila. Now, tell us, Jason, what's it like being president?
It's definitely an honor, I will say that. I honestly did not prospect myself of becoming the president of PPG. I honestly can recall when I first arrived here to this department, I was definitely very hesitant with being involved just because I was shy, just because I was awkward. And I was invited to attend one of our banquets. And through that banquet, that's when I finally was like, yeah, this is the place I want to stay. And so becoming president is definitely an honor. I've met the previous presidents that were here at PPG, and they've all guided me a lot and have advised me a lot on how to run and inspired me, essentially. So,
Now, what got you into theater in the first place?
honestly, what got me in theater in the first place was film. It was kind of ironic, I guess. I was introduced to a lot of film by the time I was like 5 years old. My parents had no restriction on what I could watch. I had already knew who Jason Voorhees was, who Michael Myers was, Freddy Krueger, by the time I was 5. Yeah, I know, horrifying. And growing up, I lived in LA Valley area, and unfortunately it was a pretty impoverished time. So most of the time my family was not home. I was mostly home alone, and I was left with my thoughts, my imagination. And through my imagination, I have built up my own worlds, my own stories, and this is all has just been accumulating until 8th grade, where my first ever theater class was with Mr. Belek, may he rest in peace. He introduced us to theater, and he actually allowed me to write my own scripts and perform them. And that was what I think was the catalyst that told me this is what I want to do.
And you've actually used some of your created scripts here on campus, right?
Yes, I have utilized 2 scripts, one called Old Friends, the other being called The Purple Dandelion. That was part of the student-led project, the other theater project. This is a student tradition that has been happening for a long time here. And again, it was just an awesome, honorable experience to be able to utilize my ideas onto a script to have people perform. So, 2 scripts, 2 opportunities for me to direct and guide my actors and have my stories told.
And I heard there's a third one coming along for auditions are soon, right?
Yes. It's not going to be a theatrical stage, but it's called The Phantoms Unknown. This is going to be for my senior capstone. I am a 4th year. For those who don't know, I am going to be graduating pretty soon. And part of our curriculum as we graduate is we have a capstone project to complete and just basically tell the entire department, tell all the other students what have we learned throughout our years here at CSUSB. And so my capstone is a horror film, about 45 minutes long, called The Phantoms Unknown. This is an idea that I've been building for the past 5 years, that finally, I'm excited to get it done.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to write and direct. It takes a lot of discipline. That's what I was looking for, discipline. So what have been your favorite theater classes to take here at CSUSB?
Good question. Honestly, every theater class that I've taken has had very memorable moments that I will carry with me as I go throughout my career as an actor. I think nothing will ever affect me the most as my first ever theater class here. And honestly, it's probably just a nostalgia factor and just, emotional connection. It was fundamentals of acting. That was my first actual theater class. It was the first time I was performing again. I was being in front of an audience, meeting new people, because that was the first year that we came back in person after COVID. So fundamentals of acting, really, it was a really memorable time that I honestly can never forget how fun that class was on learning those new skill sets of theater while at the same time meeting new friends.
What has been your favorite production to be a part
of? That's difficult. Similar thing, I've had about 3 different directors out of 4 different shows. And I think just personally, the most memorable as well would be my first one, A View from the Bridge, directed by Terry Smith. That, again, it was just a time that performing in front of everybody, performing again on the stage, taking on a role that was the narrator, that was the moral compass of a very, very heavy show, and being just take on a role that's very serious, very not authoritarian, but it's definitely a conflicting thing with the lead, right? And so this was the first time that I really was starting to open that new world. Like this is the play that told me I am in adult theater. I am in a more mature world rather than my high school, middle school times with doing theater.
As president, I hear you're in charge of a lot of events here. Aren't we having one coming up soon in March?
Yes, we are.
Could you talk about that?
That is the High School Theater Festival. So the High School Theater Festival, that is a really, really awesome event where we invite a lot of local high schools from different school districts come down to CSUSB to take a look into different workshops that are led by either students, could be also led from faculty and staff, and just overall, we're trying to embrace and love theater. Have fun with it. We bring a bunch of students over. I know we had a few times where some students will perform monologues, they'll perform scenes. Some of different faculty and staff members would be able to kind of just give critical analysis to them, give them, it's like, I don't want to describe it as a competition, but overall it is an environment that we're trying to see just overall their skill sets. And these workshops as well, they do vary a lot. I've seen cases to where students have done a lot of design workshops. I've seen a lot of acting workshops. And again, it's just a really, really fun time to where we're trying to introduce high schoolers on the aspect that this is a career that could really build you. Little fun fact, you wouldn't have known it, but I'm a tour guide here on campus. It's one of my favorite things to talk about the theater program here on campus because actually, one of the staff members here, Eric Moles, he came up to me and, talked about this political science, talking about lawyers, talking about different roles of the world. You hear about big roles like doctors, lawyers, and their way of public speaking, right? And you hear a lot from students saying like, well, I remember I need to overtake anxiety. I need to overtake public speaking. I don't know how to do that. And, ironically, say for example, a student wants to become a lawyer, they don't necessarily, of course, public speaking classes is a big plus, but ironically, it's theater, really, at the end of the day, that really helps them build that skill sets of taking away that fear, that anxiety. And High School Theater Festival, I think, is the best opportunity for those students to actually just really step into that water of understanding that theater is not necessarily a career that you should be married to, if that makes sense. Like, oh, I'm going to be a costume designer, I'm going to die as a costume designer. It's more an asset of, we're going to teach you costume design, you're going to utilize different skill sets, like say you want to sew, say you want to analyze different scripts and different cultures, say you want to analyze different aspects of designing, and you can utilize those skill sets from costume designing or theater and apply that to literally anything else. Right, and that's where I think the beauty comes in with High School Theater Festival and just theater in general, introducing to that these younger generations that we as adults could help guide them to that. So High School Theater Festival, again, is something that I personally wish I had the opportunity to be part of. Actually, some of our students here currently at CSUSB had attended High School Theater Festival before and chose CSUSB because of it. So honestly, it is, if a viewer here happens to be in high school and prospecting to CSUSB, I recommend it.
Well, you have already talked about your upcoming capstone project. To talk about the High School Theater Festival, are there any other events coming up for the theater department or the players of the Pear Garden?
I know for sure, the end of the year, we always host a banquet. The banquet is pretty much a tradition as what we do as PPG. This is where we invite all of our students and also our faculty and staff members to attend and just celebrate our achievements of the year. It's a very beautiful event. Again, these banquets, I've never knew they existed until an alumni actually invited me to go. I was so nervous. because I was like, I know none of these people. But when I went, I felt right at home. So the banquet is definitely something that it's coming up pretty soon. If any students are prospecting to be part of the CSUSB Theater Arts Department, you'll be part of it. And overall, we always communicate with our team members on theme, on overall location, and awards. We want to acknowledge your achievements. We want to acknowledge what has been going throughout this year. So in short, this banquet, it's not just for celebration, but also acknowledging and recognizing your achievements and what you have, including scholarships.
Yes, and didn't you receive a scholarship last year?
I did receive a scholarship. I received the Ronald E scholarship. Receiving that scholarship, it was honestly just a really, really high honor. And it's something that I'm absolutely grateful for, that I was given the opportunity to earn that scholarship. It has supported me exponentially on guiding my way throughout my year here at CSUSB. It helped me go to London. I am going to London this summer. And that opportunity, coincidentally, going to London is alongside with my theater degree, because I'll be watching Hamilton, I'll be watching a bunch of Shakespeare, I'll be watching some operas. So the Ronald E. scholarship, it definitely, earning that scholarship was a testimony to understanding that the work and effort that I've made since my freshman year on campus was worth it. And just receiving it was truly something that my proudest moment here on campus.
Thank you for joining us today. We're glad to have you.
Thank you for being a great president for the players of the Pear Garden, and why don't you go and sign us off?
Alrighty, thank you, and thank you for having me. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know what you think. But that is the podcast of the Pear Garden.